All right, time now for everyone's favorite segment of the week. It is time. Yeah.
It's time for a good old-fashioned Q&A, MMA fans. Ladies and gentlemen,
do this, Frank.
the moment has arrived to hear from the
So
man
many,
himself.
100. We're at
Ariel
180
Helwani.
now.
Oh, man.
Live from the Vox Studios
We're
in
gonna do 'em all.
beautiful New York City.
65% has to
It's
be
on the
Ant
nose.
Evans, right?
And now,
Yes.
to answer your questions,
And,
get out of your seats and
No.
on your feet because
But by the way,
here he is,
Trin Daddy
Ariel
on the
Helwani.
YouTube channel, GC, is saying that Canada has the second best odds to win gold, plus 900. Is that even possible? If so,
I don't know. I don't know about the Olympic basketball. It's plus 900 as the second place. That means Team USA is like minus 1,000 or something.
where can we find this? I'd like to confirm this. Can we find this anywhere?
Nothing on DraftKings right now.
Oh.
They just got the medals. I can't find it on any offshore books, but I mean,
Alright.
it's bound to pop up.
All right, so maybe he's making it up. I'll take it.
I'm not saying he's making it up. I haven't found it.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let us get right into it. Conor from Canada is up first. Hey, Ariel, if the roles were reversed and Chandler was the one who had to sustain an injury, how do you think this saga would have played out? Despite his patience, I feel like the UFC would have simply replaced him. Yes. And I think he knows that. And credit to Chandler. He has handled this very well, and he said yesterday that he is going to attend the event in Las Vegas. But, I mean, of course, the $20 million gate is not for Michael Chandler. It's for Conor McGregor, and I think he knows that. And obviously, he's played his part, but Conor is the biggest draw in the history of the sport. It's not necessarily Conor with someone else. It's Conor alone. So yes, they would have replaced him. You are right. Leroy Jenkins, Ariel Helwani. Oh, I like that one. Put it on a shirt. Mr. 14 times does it again. Curious if you can pull back the curtain ever so slightly on your conversations with your source regarding the Conor injury. Well, correct you right there. Sources. If you think I'm just talking to one person, you are very much mistaken. This is like 5, 6, 7 people. When your sources said the injury part of the news was off the record, what does the rest of the conversation look like? Do you run your plan by the source to dance around? Your words, not mine. The injury news to see if they were okay with that, or was it a better to ask forgiveness than permission situation? No, the part that was specifically said was off the record was the injury. The other stuff wasn't. And I never got anything back from that. They really initially just didn't want that out because they didn't want Chandler to know. They didn't want it out that he was hurt. And they have yet to specify as to what it is because they think that they're going to fight soon and they don't want that targeted. And they know that the foot has been targeted because of the injury that happened 3 years ago. So they don't want other targets to be known. Will it remain under wraps? Who knows? But I understood, and I can't fight that. When you get news like this, are your family and coworkers privy to the info, or are they finding out when we all do? Well, little known fact, my family does not really watch the program, believe it or not. So I do sometimes. Yeah, I do sometimes tell them. I think Frank's wife, the lovely Tracy, probably of all the significant others, probably watches the show more than anyone. Am I right about that?
I think Connor's main squeeze also watches.
I get you. We get a lot of feedback from Tracy. Well, through you.
Yeah, that's me just trying to express my own opinions through her
Okay.
to soften the blow.
Fair enough. In any event, certainly not my wife. That's for sure. And I don't think Rick's wife either.
Holly's an hard out on.
I think she actually makes it a strong point to not watch.
Yeah,
She's
like intentionally does not
anything.
watch.
She has nothing to do. She will just make a point not to turn it.
Yeah.
Which I get. Anyway, sometimes I'll share stuff with the guys here. I think they all kind of knew. They could actually back me up when I say I knew. But when things are off the record, they have to remain that way. Don't let the bootlickers grind you down, bromigo. Leroy Jenkins. Thank you very much, Leroy. Parker, hello, Mr. 107 and the crew. First-time writer here, and was wondering about the decision to not move Conor versus Chandler to the Sphere. It seemed like a layup for the UFC to make the once-in-a-lifetime card even bigger by adding the most anticipated fight of the year. Could the reason for this be that tickets for 306 are already on sale, which means that the brass won't be able to adjust the price to Conor numbers, making the cards gate one for the history books? It's not a bad shout. It's really not a bad shout. Are they already on sale without actual fights attached to it? Let me see. UFC 306 tickets. I don't know. Are they actually on sale? StubHub, Sphere, Premium UFC Experience. September 14th. I don't know if they're on sale. I guess there's some here. Wow, this is cool. Maybe they are on sale. It's not a bad shout. They have 2 title fights attached to it. I don't think they want another. And certainly not a Conor fight and be able to break up that massive pie as opposed to the medium-sized pie, if you get what I'm saying. But yes, I mean, I would love it. It would make so much sense. It would be such a beautiful scene. It would be so cool. The Foggy do. Who other than him deserves it? It would be perfect, but it doesn't seem, at least for now, maybe they make, maybe they call an audible and make a different call. But at least as of right now, it doesn't seem like a thing that is being discussed. Appreciate the time and work put into the show, as it is something we all look forward to every week. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. P.S. Thoughts on the Wyatt 6 debut on Monday's Raw? Yeah, that was incredible. Anyone see that? Rick, did you see that? This was Bray Wyatt's brother, the former Bo Dallas, now known as Uncle Howdy, show up with a whole new faction, some other old characters, very Bray Wyatt-esque, Fiend-esque, and it was a great debut, and they've been doing a great job of teasing their debut, and it was I mean, beloved online. So very cool, very curious to see what they do with it, and great opportunity for Bo Dallas, who never quite got over as much as his brother, Wyndham Rotunda. So great opportunity for him to get his shine. I know he probably, obviously didn't want it under these circumstances, but there was a rumor for a very long time that he was Uncle Howdy and that he would get introduced as well as part of the Bray faction. And so this is his chance to make something happen, and cool to see the spirit of Bray Wyatt. And it still feels very surreal that he is no longer with us. Very cool to see the spirit of Bray Wyatt live on. Oh, here he is, Ant Evans. Is the hashtag shadowban officially over? I asked because I was on a show presented by Puppets the other day. Yeah, it's been tough sledding for Antoine. And no, it's not over. I mean, as long as the insane hot takes continue to fly on his Twitter, how could it be over? David Velasquez, Ariel, if someone who works at BYM asks you to come on that show to settle the beef with Bisping, would you say yes? I actually was briefly looking at the questions. So since this is the first mention of it, and I don't know, I looked at like maybe 8, and I don't know how deep it goes. I don't want to make this into a thing. I don't actually feel good about any of this. I actually went deep into like my text conversations with Mike from back in the day, 2016, etc. And, like we were legit pals, and it wasn't just journalists covering fighter. We were working together at Fox, and it's impossible to not bond, like I said. And so none of this makes me happy. None of this makes me feel good. And it's actually why I never talked about it for a year, because I would hear the pot shots, I would hear everything, and it would just kind of bum me out. But it was only after that last, mini rant or whatever you want to call it that I felt like I had to defend myself, because that's always been my stance. When you start to make it personal and kind of make up stuff about me, I feel like I have to respond. If you say I suck at my job, like, okay, whatever. But none of this makes me happy, so I'm not going to get into a whole thing regarding this. If someone wants to invite me, I'm very much in a place in my life where I'm actually not looking for feuds. I'm not looking for beefs. I don't enjoy it, believe it or not. When we came here in 2021, there was some anger inside of me, and there was some stuff that I felt like I needed to say, and I had to sit there, especially during our hiatus. I'm in quarantine in Canada, 2 weeks in a rental, and I'm like, I'll never forget. I'm like looking at my phone, and I gotta look at people make up shit about me, and so like it all kind of festered inside of me, and I felt like I had to punch back because I wasn't able to while I was at ESPN. But I'm not looking for any of this, and anyone who says otherwise is lying. And I'm also not revealing anything. I saw some people say like, oh, making it personal, or it's TMI, revealing stuff. Nothing I said on Monday hasn't been covered in his book or his documentary. There was nothing new there. at all. And me talking about what happened in 2016 with that fight was not an example of me being a good journalist. This is the part that people didn't understand. Me talking about what happened in 2016 was trying to explain that because I'm a journalist, and I think a good one, I knew about that information. And because I considered him a friend, and it was a unique situation because we worked together as well, I relayed the info. You see the distinction? I know it's tough. I learned this over the last 2 weeks. It's hard for people to make the distinction when I'm trying to lay things out. But that's what I was trying to say. But I'm not going to make, I have no interest, don't want to make this into a thing, hope it doesn't become a thing. And yeah, if someone invited me, I was on David Sampson's podcast yesterday. David Sampson, in my opinion, helped kill my favorite baseball team. And I hated him and his stepfather for years. And there I am singing Kumbaya with him. So I really I feel better when I don't have hate in my heart and when I'm not, quote unquote, beefing with people. And it's the same stance that I've always said. Life is too short for grudges. I believe that grudges make you sick, that they put you in a bad spot. They affect you emotionally and mentally. And I don't want that in my life. So make no mistake about it. Just because I'm responding and defending myself, and I think that that's important, doesn't mean that I'm not willing to then shake hands and walk away. And to everyone who says you wouldn't say this to his face, I would. I didn't say anything that I thought was out of bounds. And yes, I acknowledge fighters could beat me up. Why is that a thing? Yes, fighters could beat me up. They're fighters. They're incredibly talented. I'm not. And what are we proving here? That's the retort. And by the way, which fighters do you know of that just go around beating people up when they get into disagreements? It's not really a thing. So it shouldn't really come down to that. Anyway, sorry. This just was the first question about it. But of course, I'm open to it. I'm not against it. I don't wish harm. I don't wish bad. I don't wish them to have trouble. Like, I want everyone to succeed. I like Anthony very much. I have great respect for Michael the fighter, for what he's accomplished. And I'm not trying to get into any type of thing. I know people like it, but I'm not trying to get into any kind of thing. So don't confuse the two. Kareem, any news on the new Conor Chandler date? Not as of right now. Still developing. Johnny Dew. What up, Helwani and gang? Long-time listener, first-time questioner. I'm currently on vacay here in the States, traveling from the land down under. I come from my land down under. And my last stop is in Vegas for UFC International Fight Week. Thank you for the work that you've done reporting on the McGregor situation. Otherwise, much like the rest of the world, we would be kept in the dark until the 10th hour. I appreciate it. My question is, will you and the team be hosting a live show in Vegas during International Fight Week, as I'll love to attend and meet the gang, as I've followed your content for a very long time? Unfortunately, no. Even had a chance to take a picture with you at the open workouts in Melbourne, not Melbourne, Melbourne, during Rousey Home. Much love. Keep up the great work that you do. And don't let the bootlickers get you down. Powerful JDU. No live show. There was some talk, but we've tabled it. More to come, I promise. We are going to do more of those. A great time was had by all. And very, very happy to say that we are in the process of donating all the proceeds from the event to the Good Fight Foundation, and they've put out their kit for the auction. So Dustin and his wife are doing great things. Senados Gelatos. Ciao, Ariel. Please tell me you've seen the Mix Molly Whopper analysis of the whole Bisping situation. It's so on point. I'm still waiting for the genius behind the channel to get a shout out on the MMA Hour. As an avid listener of the show, he is currently the number one guy I would love to see/hear being interviewed on here. Grazie mille. So I do have to say, this was one of the things that I saw last night as I was perusing. And so I looked up Mix Molly Whopper because I had not heard of him and was thoroughly impressed by his channel and of his breakdown of this whole thing. I commented on the page. He's great. He's got a great channel. So much respect. Whoever you may be, much respect to you. Reminds me a little bit of Propa Boxing, a little bit different, but has the same vibe. And he does great work over on the boxing side of things. I wasn't sure that this was even a real name, but shout out to this individual, Mix Molly Whopper. Great work, great channel, very, very creative and smart. And I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed his take on everything. Hi, Ariel. First things first, thank you to you and the team for consistently providing the best, most reliable, and entertaining content, especially during these challenging times here in Israel. After another 10-7, this time over Bisping, it's clear that those who dislike you fall into two categories: Dana White's cheerleaders and anti-Semites. I don't want to put you in a tough spot, but since you often discuss this, I'm curious if you agree with my assessment. I mean, I do think those are two of the categories for sure, and I've never seen anything like I've seen over the past 8 months in terms of just blatant anti-Semitism and it just being thrown around like it's all good. But people expose themselves and there's no repercussions. I don't know if it's just those two, but those are definitely two of them. On a different note, GC, what's the status with the merch? I can't wait to rock the Humi t-shirt in the coolest city, Tel Aviv. Cheers, Iran. I could take that one. We are working on it, and it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. A couple months away, I think. Maybe even less. So stand by. Yeah. Steve, dear Ariel, I've always considered you to be the best in the game, but am I being naive? I thought that the other journalists had connections and sources too, albeit maybe not as many. When the biggest UFC fighter of all time says he's returning and then gets injured, why did no one else report on it? All I've seen on socials are a report coming out saying per Ariel Helwani. My question is, are you in fact the only journalist that sources trusted with the information, or was there something in place that stopped other people reporting the information, such as not wanting to upset the UFC brass? I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist, but something just doesn't add up. Shout out to the crew in the back. Keep those 14 trophies shining. Viva Helwani. I don't know. I can't speak for them, but I did think it was weird as hell. I mean, usually there's an off-brand guy there, a Twitter account here, a report there. There was nothing. Absolutely nothing. Guess who's here for you every step of the way? Guess. No short sleeve Helwani today, Frank, by the way.
It's too bad.
Yeah.
Is this Lululemon?
No, it's not. But they saw the shout out. They appreciated my words. They didn't love your words.
Mine outshined your words. You know what, Lululemon? I love you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, though. Makum Otaku. Hello, Ariel and crew. What's this update on the O'Malley Merab for the undisputed bantamweight strap? Much love. Sphere looks like, but not quite done. Feel confident that they'll try to put Grasso Shevchenko on there, and then either O'Malley Merab, Topuria, Max. Here's my question for you guys. O'Malley Merab or Topuria? What did I say? O'Malley Max? O'Malley Merab, Topuria, Max. Which one would you prefer at the Sphere? GC, what do you think?
Merab versus O'Malley.
Why?
Because I want to see Topuria in Spain.
Oh, I think the other one's going maybe to Utah.
Oh God.
I mean, that's the next one.
I don't want to see either of those fights in Utah, but
sorry. I actually think Max Holloway in Utah would be interesting.
Why?
I think he doesn't have cardio issues, and I think that could be an advantage for him. I don't think he gets affected by the altitude.
I like that slant. I thought you meant maybe he had like a massive fan base in Utah or something.
No. I don't know if anyone does.
Yeah, I was going to say like, yeah, I guess I like that. I like that idea.
By the way, this is according to our good friend Andrew Feldman, USA minus 400, number 2, Canada plus 900.
Yeah, and then there's like everyone else.
Serbia plus 1,000, France plus 1,000. I mean,
plus
hey,
1,000, plus
South
1,100.
South Sudan plus 30,000.
Really second? Are they really second there? I mean, they're just like, it's just barely.
It sounds like a light your money on fire bet though. Like it's USA and everybody.
Oh, for sure.
Like just
there's
bet them
an
to medal
ocean
or something.
between the US and Canada.
So you guys take this for granted. If we got to the gold medal game and ended up playing the US and getting a silver, you know how gigantic this would be for the country?
Yes, but then that bet doesn't cash.
I'm just saying, I don't care. Just they're the second best team in the tournament according to these people. So
I'm fine. Like, I like their team. I see it.
The odds they could potentially be the second best team in the tournament. Odds are wrong all the time.
Man.
Haters were supporters of our own team, man.
No, I mean you still give love.
I literally
Yeah, we
gave
gave
love.
love, man.
Every moment of that we talked
They got
about
a great
this.
roster. They play well. They could maybe potentially, go.
I'm
with,
just saying that
maybe a shot
betting
at
them
getting
to
a
win a
medal.
gold medal is like betting the sky to be green tomorrow. Like, it's just not going to happen.
JJ Boob Hugger. Hi, Ariel. Not to get political, but did you see some of the people Jake Shields was hanging out with last week? I did not. I do not follow Jake Shields. It's much worse than any crazy Sean Strickland type of stuff. Is it a poor reflection on the MMA community to have a UFC vet doing events with people like Sneeko and legit low IQ anti-Semites? Not sure what's going on in his whole funky career, but it's pretty sad to see. P.S. Since last week you didn't want to use my username, can you ask the guys if I should just change it to JJBH? I mean, whatever. I guess. The Jake Shields thing is weird. I see him popping up. Can I give you my theory on Jake Shields? I don't believe Jake Shields runs his Twitter account. How about that? I don't believe that the guy that we've been talking to and covering is the same guy who's putting out that stuff. I think there's someone else doing that because I know that guy. And it's just it doesn't match the stuff. The stuff is batshit crazy and very anti-Semitic and very offensive and just absurd at all times. The guy's still talking about me wearing a mask from 3 years ago. He's still talking about it. Meanwhile, he's wearing a mask on a plane in other photos. He's just he's a walking weirdo, really is what he is. But he was always very kind and on the show and like part of the Diaz crew. And then all of a sudden I see him with these like supreme political hot takes. And it's just like, where is this coming from? And so I don't think that he actually puts this stuff out. I think there's someone else using his account to put it out. What do you guys think of that? It's so weird for me when I see
big revelation.
Well, it's weird for me when I see these people and they're like, according to Jake Shields. I'm like, what? And it's like something that has absolutely nothing to do. How do we get to this point?
It's like the feel bad version of whenever I see Keith Lee. When they're like,
it's the complete opposite. Yes.
They're like, Keith Lee does this incredible thing. I'm like, wow, that's one of our guys. He's the man. And then I hear the Jake Shields is the opposite version of that.
It is actually 1,000% that.
Yeah.
Wow. What a great analogy. Yeah. I don't think it's him. And I don't pay much attention to it. I lied. I don't pay any attention to it. Could not care less. Adele. Hey, Ariel, much love to you and the gang. I feel like you ignore my question every week, and I somehow come up with new ones every week. So here is another one. I mean, we're really hitting all the hard-hitting stuff here, but YOLO, who cares? Could we talk about your contract with Vox Media or the article by the New York Post? What can you share with us, if anything at all, about your future plans? I hope you don't leave the MMA hours. It really holds a special place for me, the chemistry between all of you, the ideas, the discussion, the hot tags, even Frank with the bass in his voice. So tell us, what does the future hold for Ariel Helwani? Thanks, Adele from Canada. Here's what I can tell you. It is true that my contract is up in 2 months, a little less than 2 months, mid-August. And it is true that I have no idea what's going to happen. That is the 1,000% truth. Still all up in the air, still developing. And yous will be the first to know as I try to get ahead of these things and be transparent about it. I'm not sure where all that info came from, but, flattered to be talked about in a publication of any kind, including one as prestigious as the New York Post, which I used to go to the local dépanneur in Montreal, which is a bodega, and buy to read Nick's reports and articles when the internet wasn't really a thing. That's a true story. In the mid-'90s, I would walk there to buy the Daily News and the New York Post, read Frank Isola, read Mark Berman, read Mike Lupica, and so Peter Vesey, of course. So yes, it's been an incredible 3 years, not just here, but with everything I've done, post ESPN, and we're in the thick of it now. And I'm not sure how it's going to turn out, but I have some big ideas and big plans. And if they come to fruition here, there, or anywhere, I think it's going to be great. And I think everyone will be very, very happy. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it all plays out. That felt good. Was that good? I think that was good. Yeah? I mean, on the spot. Thank you, Frank. TJ, question was skipped last week. Ariel, I was watching the actor Tom Hardy's jiu-jitsu matches, and he's pretty good. Also thinking about the celebrities that consistently show up to UFC events like Jared Leto. Would you ever consider having more celebrity guest interviews that are fans of MMA? Like when Steve-O came on. Of course. I would love it. Top 3 fighting movies. Warrior, Creed, that type of fighting. What are the top 3? There's what's the one? Here Comes the Boom. Now, I guess when he says fighting and he's saying Warrior and Creed, oh no, but he's including boxing. So like, how can you not have Rocky in there? You know, No Holds Barred was a fun one back in the day with Hulk Hogan. Creed is good. Rocky, of course.
Warrior's great.
Warrior's
Watched that a couple months ago.
Yeah,
Very
Warrior
good.
is really good. If we're talking MMA, Warrior is probably up there as the best, right? Am I missing one?
I think that's the best MMA one.
Obviously, The Rock is doing a movie now, Smashing Machine.
Yeah, I actually I've never seen the Rockies, so I haven't watched them.
Any of them?
Yeah, any of them. Seen all the Creeds, but I have not seen. I haven't seen the Rockies.
Wow, that is wild. You've seen all 3 Creeds.
Yeah. When saw the last one in theaters? Still haven't. I've been meaning to get around to it. I just still haven't seen them.
That's crazy.
If you're into MMA movies, check out This Is Cinema on the MMA Fighting YouTube channel. They reviewed MMA movies.
Okay.
Check it out. It's there.
I thought they also reviewed Did they review non-MMA movies as well?
No, it's just MMA movies. It was like Here Comes the Boom, the Jose Aldo movie.
This is MMA. I saw they did a couple episodes.
Blood and Bone with Kimbo.
Wait a second, but is the Aldo one in English?
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Oh, all right.
Did they review docs as well?
No docs.
Docs are the best.
Cinematic.
Although there aren't that many great, like to me, if I had to pick one, if I say like, okay, you have to watch one MMA movie, I'm probably picking The Smashing Machine. I think The Smashing Machine was the best, but that was more doc.
I know Choke is very popular for Hicks and Gracie.
Yeah.
Fightville, obviously, we've talked at length about, is incredible. I feel like the docs are actually pretty strong.
Docs are they're definitely better. The 30 for 30 on Tito and Chuck had all kinds of problems. They had to edit it. I wouldn't put it up there. You know what I hate about the 30 for 30? I was interviewed via telephone. So I went to a spot, but the interviewer was not there. So he was on a speakerphone, and it was actually pouring rain that day. And I feel like when I watch myself in it, I'm yelling because I'm subconsciously speaking to the guy on the speakerphone, and no one told me that. So when you go and watch it, it's like, okay, normal voice, no, and it's like and I'm yelling, and I'm like, fuck, why didn't anyone tell me that I was yelling? It's like I'm talking to someone on a speakerphone that's like 10 feet away from me. You know what I mean? Hate it. Anyway,
that is pretty silly.
Miguelito. He's asking me if Alex Pereira has the skibidi rizz. You know what skibidi is, right, Frank? You've heard of brain rot?
Brain rot?
I don't know if my kids have ever been more excited than when I showed them the clip of me and Rampage talking about the skibidi. GC, you heard about it?
Yeah, I've heard about it. I still don't fully understand it. This is like my first sign that I'm getting old, that I just like don't really know what people are talking about when they say that. But I would imagine if anyone has the skibidi rizz, it's probably Alex Pereira.
I mean, no, for sure he has it. For sure.
Skibidi Ohio rizz or just skibidi rizz?
Well, he definitely doesn't have the skibidi toilet. He's definitely got the plus 1,000 aura, if not more.
Are there?
Oh, I was gonna say it's
to the
more
level
than
of
plus 1,000 aura.
He's definitely Sigma. You know, back in the day with Rampage, Alpha was the highest. Now it's Sigma above Alpha. He's definitely a Sigma.
Yeah, that's been around for a minute.
And there were a lot of people who said that, like, me coming out with, brain rot terms before GTA 6 was a big development.
Oh, that is a clever meme.
This whole convo is
now
just
you're
Jason
just pulling
Tatum.
him out.
This is just Jason Tatum.
Now,
this is
now
all
you're just
Tatum.
pulling him out.
No.
You're just using the comparison of anything before we got GTA 6.
I'm literally going off the comments. What are you talking about?
Oh, wow.
People
Also,
literally said this.
Then they just pulled that out.
You asked Dakota if her Celsius was rizz free. Like, I think it's bleeding over into your everyday.
It's very true. Yeah. Did I say
fizz free?
You did.
You were like, is it
rizz
or
free?
rizz
That's right. You
free?
did ask that.
Sorry. We continue. Is International Fight Week cursed from Matt? By the way, there was a great stretch. There was an amazing stretch where International Fight Week cards were altered at the last minute. I think only last couple. Let's see if I could, because it was like the Conor Aldo fight. There was the Nunes Shevchenko fight got canceled the morning of. Remember that? Yeah, Yoel and Robert ended up being the main event. There was a pretty good I mean, obviously the Brock Lesnar and not Brock Lesnar, the John Jones DC thing happened. That changed things up. So yeah, it might be back. Unfortunately, hopefully not. Hopefully not. Peace and love. Peace and love. Quaid Smith, Ariel, my man, much love to you and the crew. Quick question that I hope you can answer. Is there any truth to Turkey looking to buy Matchroom top-ranked PBC Golden Boy? If so, what do you think of this? I did reach out to Turkey Al-Sheikh and asked him if it was true. He said not completely, and that there's a press conference next week to announce the September 21st Wembley card featuring, most likely, Anthony Joshua. The talk seems to be Daniel Dubois versus Anthony Joshua, but who knows? And that it would be discussed over there. So let's see. Speaking of Eddie Hearn, I reached out to him yesterday after Dan Rayfield reported that Top Rank won the bid for the Devin Haney Sandor Martin fight, $2.92 million, and then Devin Haney was quite upset on Twitter that it seemed like Matchroom didn't even bid, and that I think there was only one bid, to be honest, for the fight, which is pretty wild. And Eddie Hearn did confirm this. He said, we don't have a contract with Devin. It's not an appealing fight. Wasn't a fight DAZN were motivated by or one that had any value. Devin is a free agent and has his own promotional company, essentially saying, like, it's on you, bro. You're a free agent. I found this comment to be extremely interesting, Rick, because here's Eddie Hearn, who has been tied to Devin for quite some time. Devin went off to Top Rank to get those, big fights, and then with Kambosos, and then he comes back, and then doesn't work out with Ryan Garcia. And now it seems like maybe it's the fight or maybe it's the relationship. It isn't quite the same, right?
Well, there's certainly that angle, right? Like you would expect if Eddie wanted to be in further business with Devin, you would expect naturally that there'd be a bid and some future looking. But to be honest, I understand where Eddie's coming from the perspective that, like, you get to benefit from the free agency. You get to benefit from promotion hopping. This is the downside.
Yeah.
This is the other side of that coin, which is when there's a fight that people are not going to be particularly interested in, at least from Eddie Hearn's perspective and from mine as well. I don't care about this fight. There's not going to be a bid from Matchroom. And so that is the downside of being a promotional free agent and being able to bounce around and take the fights where you want to take the fights. That relationship with a promoter like an Eddie Hearn and a Matchroom doesn't exist, and therefore they're under no obligation. So I kind of get Eddie's perspective here, and I also get Devin's perspective of, like, hey, if you're going to try and be my guy, but this is the downside of that free agency. This is the downside of that ability to bounce around.
I mean, Bay Steady, as
Spicy.
they say. Spicy as hell. Now, do you think
do you disagree? Do you feel like
not
that
at
was
all.
a fight worth bidding on? I understand why he would not.
I think the promotional company thing is interesting because a lot of these guys will want to say, like, oh, I got my own company. I got my own this, that.
Yeah, put on the fight. If you are in business, put on the fight.
Bill Haney has also said, thank you to our friend Sportsmaster on Twitter. He's also said that Devin won't be negotiating any future fights until his record is changed back to undefeated. And then I also saw him say that he's going to sit out until Ryan comes back. And so who knows? He doesn't have to take that fight. He could just give up the belt, but kind of a mess of a situation. By the way, I meant to say this at the top of the show. Rest in peace to the legend Willie Mays. I loved Willie Mays as a kid. I was obsessed with that 60s era, 50s, 60s era of baseball and sports in general. I was really into that, and I loved watching that old footage of Willie Mays with the catch and the Dodgers and the Giants, and so it was very sad to see that he had passed at 93. So much love to Willie Mays and his family, and what a legacy with the Bonds family and whatnot. Pretty amazing who he was, and what a depressing time, right? Bill Walton, Jerry West, and Willie Mays passing in like the span of 2 weeks. Isn't that crazy? Unbelievable. I mean, 3 like generational legends, icons, larger than life superstars passing in the span of just a few weeks. So that was very sad to see. Loved Willie Mays. There was something about him. Say hey kid, Willie Mays. Also, there was some breaking news coming from One Championship. I meant to mention this after the Cade Rutolo interview. 169, November 8th, State Farm Arena in Hotlanta. Did you see this news, GC?
No, I did not.
Anatoly Malkin will put his one heavyweight MMA championship on the line against Rug.
I'll be there no matter what.
Yes. That is November 8th. So they've got a couple of shows in the United States. Pre-sale, I think, is underway, and tickets go on sale on July 12th. Yeah. And so let us go back to our, also, by the way, I wanted to mention this week marks our 15th birthday. How about that? 2009. What grade were you in 2009, GC?
Ninth grade.
Amazing.
What grade was
Rick in?
Rutolo in?
Fuck. 2009, he was 6. Crazy. Yep.
Was this private or public school?
For
me, I was public all the way.
Shout out. My guy Jedi had the clip here. This is how the show started. I'm gonna go to a bootleg on this. Okay, Frank, is that all right with you?
Do it. Well, this is certainly exciting. Maybe on speakerphone.
It's on my computer.
From the beautiful AOL studios in downtown Manhattan. This is a dream come true, I must say, guys. Very exciting stuff. My name, of course, Ariel Helwani, will be with you every single week, and hopefully if this show turns out to be a great success like I expect it to, every single day. That's my plan, at least.
Oh.
And we'll be breaking down the wonderful and exciting world of mixed martial arts. We've got a loaded first show for you guys.
Same song from day one. The guy who said woohoo. Could you hear that, or was that just me?
I mean, yes.
Wasn't the best way to show it?
Right.
No, I could hear it.
Was an executive at AOL named Michael Rubens, and they told me that the show should only be 15 minutes long. And we ended up settling on an hour. But the first 3 episodes were called... Rick, do you remember what they were called? I know it's before your time, but I've told the story 1,000 times.
Yeah, Fight House Radio.
Yeah. And then we found out that there was a gym named Fight House, so we changed it to the MMA Hour. Here we are.
And now we're here 15 years later, baby.
By the way, like 3 weeks in, I was going to they were having like a media day at Madison Square Garden with Gina Carano and Chris Cyborg for their fight in August. I think it was August 15th, the Strikeforce fight. And we did the show. I know myself, Michael David Smith was on it. I think Kevin Blackistone as well, longtime sports writer who was on ESPN, also AOL Fan House. We did the show. I had to run to the presser. I thought I was unplugging my computer, and I unplugged the system that recorded it, and we lost the show. It's one of the worst moments of my life. We had to do the whole thing all over again. It's awful. It was actually that moment that I said, we need the show to be live. So this would never happen again. So I can't screw it up. You know what I mean?
That lost episode.
That lost.
Who knows what could have been?
Right. Christoph, Guten Tag, Ariel, and crew. Never mind all the 303 questions. We want to know the real important stuff. How are we liking the Euros so far? The atmosphere with all the fans has been great so far, and our team pulling out a huge performance doesn't hurt either. I'm assuming you're referring to Germany, who I think is playing right now, right? Or did play already. Also, shout out for Octagon giving some shine. Been there last year for my first live event and had a blast. They are a huge breath of fresh air in our thin European scene and will be breaking another record when they hold their next event in Frankfurt, where Bundesliga team Eintracht plays. Much love and greetings from Cologne. Wish me luck with all these Scots roaming the streets in their kilts right now. Christoph, been watching it. Don't love this Fubo thing. I mean, they're playing the first game on Fubo. Like, what the hell? England, we're all in. Great start for Jude. Got the goal. People said it was a lackluster second half. I thought it was fine. And I'm liking it. It's tough during the day sometimes. But we're very much locked into the Copa America too. Tomorrow, Canada, Argentina, and I'm actually going to be on with my good friends over at Men in Blazers right after the game. Myself and Raj, we're going to be talking about Jesse Marsh's big win for Canada against the defending World Cup champions. It's going to be great. Oh, here's AMW Planner, Konnichiwa Ariel-san, and she was ready to go. She had the whole setup. I really pushed for it to happen, that she could be the interpreter. I do think that Tatsuro's interpreter. I got that right, Frank?
Yep.
I thought he did a great job. But AMW, it would have been nice to have a fan of the show do it. Anyway, she writes, if you have Tatsuro Taira on the show, will you please ask him why he's not selling I'm Happy Thank You t-shirts? I didn't even see this. And I asked him the question. I'll also write in Japanese in case Frank can show the question on the screen. Oh, can you do it? Frank, she thinks that you actually put the stuff on the screen too.
Yeah. No, that's a task for another department.
Also, you asked last week why my name is AMW Planner. My name is AMW Planner because that is the name of my stationery shop. I design and sell Japanese-style planners. I write a lot, and one of the things I miss most about Japan is the quality of the paper and the design of the notebooks. I made one for myself, and it turns out people really like them here too. Anyway, this whole process has been a blast. You are great, Ariel, and great job with UFC 303 coverage. I hope we can connect again soon. Take care, and thank you for reading my questions, AMW Planner. If you type in AMW Planner on Instagram, it's a great feed with a great product. Everyone out there watching right now, all whatever 1,000 of you, go on there, support local, support our friend AMW Planner, and buy a planner or two for someone special in your life. How about that? Thank you very much. Arigato. And please continue to feed us the info from the Japanese scene. Max83, hello, Ariel. I just wanted to know if we can maybe get to hear from Khalil Rountree, because I was fascinated by the way he handled the situation. Yes, I have tried, but I don't think he's talking to anyone right now. Israel D, hello from Idaho. Hot tag, care to comment on the report about yourself in the New York Post? Guess what? You got beat to it. Hey. But nice comment from Matt Mo. Ariel's the most sought-after free agent in the world right now. Wow. Oh, you'll like this, GC. Andy Koufax. Ariel, big shitter this week is Garrett Armfield. Before your yarmulke starts spinning, let me explain. Garrett shared a post-fight social media exchange between himself and Brady Highstand, where it was revealed that he uncorked a horrific mid-fight colon cleanser. For using butt methane against his opponent, he must be awarded this week's big shitter.
Yeah, I mean, I could never match this enthusiasm for the big shitter segment. So honestly, these weekly updates are much appreciated. I feel like we kind of just let him take the reins.
He's owning it.
What was his name again? I'm sorry.
Andy Koufax. Same gentleman who I saw on the street in Brooklyn. He's like, Ariel, it's me, Andy Koufax. Meanwhile, his avatar is an orange circle.
I don't know how you wouldn't have recognized them. All right, so it's officially the Andy Koufax big shitters of the week, just like it's the Andrew Collins big hitters of the week. So shout out to Andy Koufax. You now have your very own segment named after you that you also have to provide who the big shitter is every week.
I think this one's going to last.
I love it.
This one has
It feels
longevity.
strong. Yeah. I don't know if the sales department wants to reach out to Dude Wipes, Charmin. I mean, anything. There's endless opportunities here. So, I mean,
Taco
the
Bell.
sales team. I know the sales team's watching, so if they just want to get on the horn, Taco Bell. One too.
Yeah.
Taco Bell could be a good one too. I think that'd be great. Yeah, I feel like we'll be sponsored in no time for this thing.
Enough sponsors today. We don't need more. Persian Apothecary. Ariel, I'm so excited for the eventual Highway to Helwani autobiography. I consume most of my books as audiobooks these days, and it's such a treat when either the author narrates their own book or someone special does so, like how Andy Serkis reads The Hobbit. Question, would you read your book or would you have someone else? I think you have to read it, right? It's got to be. It's got to be your voice. Logan, question for Frank. Will you go through the soundboard and give us your top 5 pound for pound sounds? My number 1 pound for pound MMA hour sound has to be Jasmine. Have a great day.
Yeah, I can do that.
Who, me? That's number 1. Number 2. Iron!
I could.
No, that's
That's
good.
the busiest.
Yeah.
I feel like you stepped away from the cat, Frank. I think it's because
No,
we.
you
the
wrapping
other
up the
day-
show? What are you doing?
Wait, what?
You're playing the wrap up.
Oh, that's also one of my favorites.
Okay.
It's like,
We're done.
wow, we're
Show's
here.
over. We're
Yes,
done. Don't have to do this shit anymore.
I was this close to starting with that one, and I'm like, I don't want.
No. Yeah. What else?
I feel like you stopped using the cat because we finally
Yeah.
found out that it was actually you who recorded that and it's your voice.
Who, me?
I mean, we don't have the cat anymore at all.
It could just get crazy here.
I feel like we need. I feel like people really like the little, like the chiwiwi, like stuff from the fights. We need to get more of that.
I was gonna say, I think we need to make this a little more robust.
Yeah.
feel
No,
like,
yeah,
Frank, get on this. It's been a slow.
I think he needs more buttons too. He's got a limited amount of buttons.
I got
That's
a
why we lost
limited
the
amount
cat.
of buttons.
How many you got?
That's 24.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow, that's more than I thought.
I think I am happy. Thank you is a good one.
I'm
That's
happy.
something-
Thanks. If you read the audiobook for Highway to Helwani, we'll have to have some Frank drops in there as well.
Just in the middle.
Yeah, just in the middle. Just a nice chi-wee-wees in between.
Oh,
in
what
between
about
a
the
couple
breaking
chapters
news?
there.
We have the breaking news sound. That's like the
Yeah, breaking
original.
news is good.
Yeah. The womp
Everyone
womp.
holding their breath also for Highway to Helwani when Sweet 16 is going to be the debut.
Yeah, never know.
Book.
Just when they think they have all the answers, we change the questions. Grant Young, hi Ariel. As an unabashed lover of syntax, I like to be conscious of the literal meanings behind some of my most commonly used words. For example, saying incredible in response to something literally means that you don't find what was said to be credible. I noticed that you also say incredible often when speaking. So I'm wondering if, considering how important credibility or lack thereof is in your profession, you ever consider the literal implications behind deeming something incredible? I hope you don't take this as a dig or me being nitpicky, patronizing. Say incredible all you want. I certainly still do. I'm just fascinated by words and would love to hear your thoughts on this. Thanks for everything you do. And bootlicker Bisping can suck an egg. Honestly, it's a great point. It's a great point.
No,
I mean-
it's too semantical.
I kind of dig it.
Incredible has come to
I'm with
mean
Rick.
impossible to believe, and you are not literally saying it's impossible or incredible that it could be
Wow.
true. The
Rick,
semantics
you got up
of this.
dictionary.com right now? Because I've got dictionary.com up right now and it says incredible, impossible to believe.
Yeah,
You just
no, it's
recited
just-
the exact definition. Nailed it.
I veto this deep dive into the language. As somebody who likes words, no, we're not doing that.
All right. Eric,
It's incredible all you want.
I appreciate it, and I do not take offense to it at all. I actually thought it was a great
I'm
point.
offended for you.
All right, fine. Eric, hello, Ariel. Given the situation between you and Bisping, isn't it a little sad that it's come to this? Yes. I remember watching your post UFC 199 episodes of the MMA Hour, and on the June 6, 2016 episode, you talked about how you weren't able to see him win. Still haven't. Then the following week on June 13th, you spoke with Michael, and there was jubilation. Are you a little sad about how it's turned into this? Yes. Love your work. Been following since 2011. Keep it up. Yes, but I've taken a lot of shots over. Some have told me more than a year, and so that's it. Just had to reply, and now we move on. Samuel, I don't know how many fighters listen to On the Nose, but this is worth sharing. I'm an MMA fan first, a fan of you in the show second, then fighters come in third. The fighters you like, I like. The fighters who aren't allowed on the show, I can't like them as much because I haven't gotten to know them. Because of your show, I bought DP's hot sauce, merch from Max, a secret juice hat, started listening to your welcome, and will always buy the pay-per-view if Leon and Volk are getting points. What's your welcome? Oh, was that Chael Sonnen? I guess so.
Yeah, that's true.
He lost me there for a second. Yes. I will always buy the pay-per-view if Leon and Volk are getting points. I was starting to like DDP and he went MIA. Will he ever come back on? He was supposed to. I don't know what happened there. My hunch is, became champ, and this was his FU to me. Even though you had him on since our whatever disagreement you want to call it that, and I had him on well before, that's my hunch. Never heard anything back. Never got an explanation. Never got, oh, by the way, sorry about this or that. So whatever. There's no ban. There's not like, I'd be happy to have him back. He's the champ. Again, grudges, not worth keeping, but I don't know what happened there. Jesse, curious to know, as I don't know anything about journalism, how many sources did you have for the Conor Chandler situation, and what type of sources? I won't tell you the type, but I'll tell you 4 or 5. I mean, every angle possible. Plus, you can't be wrong with those things. It's better to not say anything than to be like unsure of yourself and just throw things out there. And that's the difference. There's a bunch of people who throw things out there and there's no repercussions. I mess up once and I'll hear about it forever. 2, anything you could share regarding your next steps in terms of platforms you'll be covering combat sports? Not yet. Ongoing, developing. Let's see. Dash. Hello, Mr. Helwani and co. First time Substacker. Been watching the show a long time, but can never find where to ask the questions. Welcome. Anyway, do you think Alex got a huge payday for taking the fight on short notice? Yes. I think they made it worth his while.
Or do you think that they knew he would do it anyway and they kind of lowballed him?
No. Because
I'm only joking.
Oh, okay.
But you know what I mean? It's like, so when, historically, you don't ever really charge any extra for this. So you want to just do it for the team?
Yeah, no. They were caught between a rock and a hard place. There wasn't a ton of options. There really wasn't. So it was a great spot for him. And honestly, if there were a ton of options, I think he wouldn't have been picked because he said no thanks initially. Maybe more than once. Definitely more than once. Gilbert, Ariel, maybe this is a hot tag. I'm not sure, but I just have to say I'm genuinely flabbergasted at the tone of conversations regarding your coverage of the McGregor fight. I was incredibly impressed with your ability to tell the story without violating a journalist's ethical duty while simultaneously speaking between the lines to anyone with ears to listen. This isn't the first time you've done this. Just the highest profile, I'd assume. I couldn't believe folks took what you said to mean you know nothing. You and I both. In reality, all they really did was tell on themselves. I think it's time for an Ariel Helwani Y'all Must Have Forgot style comeback to let all these new fans know why you're the 14-time Journalist of the Year. I know you don't like doing the breaking news stuff, but clearly if you're not doing it, no one will. All love, no question this time. Just want to say I, for one, and I'm sure all of us here appreciate what you do, Ariel. Thank you. Gilbert Hill. Thank you. The breaking news stuff is no fun. It's just miserable. Especially the way, like if you're doing it in the NBA, I get it, but like they actively try to control all this stuff, and I'm not sure. The relationships mean more, the interviews mean more, the show means more. Exhausting. Did it. Feel like I did it long enough. Able to do it, willing to do it when need be, but don't need to.
What's interesting is that
you
get lumped in. Like, you don't do it anymore. You actively talk about how you don't care about it. And then there'll be comments where they're like, oh, he's just trying to break news. It's like, no. Maybe there's other individuals that they follow that are doing that, but you just lumped in because you're like guilty by association.
Yeah. Matt from SD, sub GC and the boys. I like that GC gets the shout out first. Happy Juneteenth and Summer Solstice Eve. Yes. Happy Juneteenth and Summer Solstice Eve. Summer Solstice, that's the longest day of the year, right?
That's correct.
Is that tomorrow?
That is tomorrow, and it's also the earliest that it's been in like 200 years.
Does that mean every day after it starts to get darker earlier? Is that it?
Yeah, it's literally the longest.
Is that the end of the summer?
It's the beginning of the summer.
It feels like the end. That's the way I look at things. It feels like now it's all downhill.
Because this time tomorrow, you could be like, damn, this is summer. And then 1 second later, it's like, summer was great.
Yeah. I love summer. Anyway, question for GC. A couple of weeks ago, you mentioned a bet in the Big Hitter segment that John Florence was a tennis leg of a winning parlay. I wanted to respectfully correct you that JJF is a surfer in the WSL. That being said, GC, what's the most obscure sport you've added to a parlay outside of darts?
Oh man, I have no recollection of ever mentioning a John Florence, so that is
Neither do I.
that's my mistake there. I mean, I also I have to say that whole intro was just fantastic. GC and the boys,
Yes.
Juneteenth, summer solstice. I mean,
There's a lot.
we really covered it all there. John Florence being a surfer, that's disrespectful on my part. Got to be better. Most obscure. I mean, you name it. I have probably bet on it throughout the course of my betting career. During the Olympics, I will get obscure with it. I mean, taking futures on who's going to win the gold medal in skateboarding.
Sick.
I mean, I had a big future on Denmark to win handball in the 2020 Olympics. Of course, it didn't come to fruition. Everyone knows that. Yeah, I mean, Tour de France, virtual horse racing, as the Genzo as you can get. During the pandemic, they were running Madden simulations. Me and the boys at work were pretty big into that. Yeah, I have no shame. I will bet on anything if I have friends to bet on it with.
Will you go crazy on the Olympics? Like,
I mean, I'm not going to go crazy, but I'm definitely going to place a couple wagers for sure. I mean, it's the Olympics. It only comes around every 4 years. You got to enjoy yourself a little bit. I mean, are you really living if you're not betting on, inverted half pipe skateboarding bronze medal match?
I agree. I've long believed this. By the way, someone else is asking, Jake, and I know you've answered this before. How much do you consider a betting unit for yourself to be for the newer fans? 50?
Yeah.
Okay.
50.
This is from One Chito. Hey, amigos, a fellow MMA fan in Uruguayan here, writing to you from Montevideo, wanting to give some unbiased insight on your comments regarding the Copa America from the previous weeks. Seeing as you guys believe Argentina and Brazil to be the favorites in the World Cup qualifiers played late 2023, Uruguay beat Brazil 2-0, Argentina 2-0 after that, and beat Mexico 4-0. Of course.
What is this?
We all know that Uruguay, first ever World Cup champs. What's this? Why are you saying
I mean, I'm getting no credit. I mean, I came on the show, publicly stated that Uruguay was my prediction to win the Copa America. I mean, he just must have glazed over that.
FYI, Argentina are tied with Uruguay for the most Copa America titles in the history of the competition. Now you knows. Big fan of the show. Much love. Is this the first time America hosts the Copa America? Because I feel like it's the first time I hear so much about it. Maybe I'm just more locked into the football world. And by the way, I saw an incredible video. I know I just asked a question, didn't wait for a response. Do you know if this is the first time? I'm sure it's easy.
I think it is. I think that's why all the North American teams are in it as well.
How dare you? We qualified fair and square. What are you talking about?
Look at that. Look at that anger. That's
Yeah.
just like you get so defensive.
Yeah, of course.
I'm pulling up to the Georgia Dome tomorrow in an Argentina jersey.
Fuck, Addy. You know what? You would. You would.
I would.
Yeah.
I got the Messi in the closet over there. Tickets are getting cheaper.
Are they really? I would love to.
No, I don't know. I haven't checked since. Oh, I mean, it's a great time. Soccer in that stadium is a tremendous time.
I saw a video from the Lake Grant Wall explaining why it's called soccer. Do you know this?
No.
Do you know that this started in England? It started because in England in the 1800s, I'm going to butcher this, but this came from him, the late great Grant Wall. They would shorten things with an ER at the end. So instead of rugby, they called it ruggers. And instead of champagne, they called it champers. And so the Football Association, kids would play. And instead of calling it, so for Football Association, the FA, right? FA Cup now, they didn't want to call it Assers. So they dropped the A and they took the SOC and called it soccer. Do you get it?
Yeah, I've heard that.
And then it kind of spread, and then they said, Americans took this. We don't want to call it this. We're going to stick with football. So it actually started in England.
I'm going to blow your mind right now. I knew that.
Oh, wow. I never knew that. I was blown away.
Will Arnett relayed this to David Beckham on Smartless.
It's fantastic.
Yes.
David Beckham had no idea.
I've heard this before, and I actually listened to that episode. Shout out to Smartless.
Boom. There it is. Smartless.
Yeah.
Great pod.
Amazing.
Great podcast.
I knew this.
Ian, hey Ariel, been a huge fan of yours for years, but never watched a full episode of the MMA until the CM Punk interview. Not only did that show get me back into wrestling, or MMA, excuse me, I watch every second of the MMA every Monday and Wednesday since. Thank you. My question is, what is the origin of the who me that Frank puts in as it cracks me up every time? Also, from one Manchester man to another, GC shaving his head game gave me the push I needed to shave mine too. Much love, Ian.
Let's go.
Do you get that a lot?
Nah, but I have gotten it a couple times. Shout out. I actually went to the beard barber yesterday, got a nice fade into the bald. We're still experimenting with it. I'm trying to bring out my inner Jason Statham over here. So
When's the last time you saw like a picture where you still had the hair?
I deleted all of them, burned
Yeah,
them in
like
a fire.
I have those headshots that you guys got in the office, and I saw it the other day. I was
Yeah.
like, who the hell is that? And I had to do a double.
There's a couple
So-
times where I see myself from like 2019, 2020. I'm like, man, I used to be a good looking cat, man. I used to really have some sauce out there. Now I'm just.
Anyways,
Yeah,
who me is
I'm
from the interview with Usyk and Fury and Turkey. Believe it or not, my wife actually says who me a lot. Every time I say it, she repeats it. So it is a thing. We also have a mug courtesy of our friends over at Gunner's Woodworks. And so it's catching on.
You
love how the
also
show
do
has-
say it.
I do say it a lot.
You do.
Yeah, you say it pretty naturally in conversation. It's crazy that is like a pretty legendary interview. You got Fury, Turkey, and Usyk all on the same broadcast, and the biggest thing to come out of that, making a major announcement, and the biggest thing to come out of that was
I still think
who me.
in the spirit of the question being asked, we should not bury the lead here. Usyk's coach was explaining like someone is not capable of fighting or is bowing down, and that's when you're like,
Who, me?
and like,
Yeah,
no, they weren't saying that about you. You're not the fighter. Like, come on.
I think
So
he was like
that-
it was like almost like he was like threatening someone. Like, he was like,
right. And that's
Yeah.
come
where-
on, like come to the fight and we'll get this done. Like, bring your knives or something. And Ariel was just
Imagine
like,
if he
"Okay."
said, "Yes, Helwani, you." Oh man, like the
Dude,
fear that would have gone on your face.
I legit thought he was talking about me. I legit
man.
thought. And then
That's
I went
what
back
makes
and
it funny.
I
is
went
you were,
back
like,
and listened
genuinely
to it, and I was
concerned.
like, "Oh, okay, now I get it." But I legit thought he was going to come from my head. He didn't know who I was.
The video is so good too, because like you like sort of like lean into the camera and your eyes get bigger and like you point at yourself and you're just like, "Oh, me?"
Who, me? That's good. Jaden, couple more. Hola, our MMA Hour crew, the group that gets me through these cold Aussie winter days. First of all, I just listened to the most recent Ringer episode, and ever since you brought up the fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I can only think of how similar to Carlton you are. Gosh, really? Actually, when I was younger, they used to say I was more Will Smith. I was cool. I was hip. I'm sure you'd agree. What a character. Man. I have a funny life question for you and the gang. Have you ever been doing something wrong your entire life and not realized until 30s or beyond? For me, after moving in with my partner, I've been informed I used bars of soap wrong. Apparently, you aren't supposed to rub the bar all over your body in bits.
Oh no.
Lathering
Oh,
up
no.
your hands and use them? Preposterous, I say. Hope it's okay to ask and it produces a laugh. Have a lovely day, and I'll be listening along live in the icy morning winds. Hashtag end
Isn't it-
still. Hashtag 14 trophies. Hashtag don't be a bootlicker.
There's no washcloth where he's at.
Never heard of a washcloth people are a special breed.
That's wild. I really thought he was gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I thought I was supposed to rub it all over my body, but I just needed to use a washcloth." But he said he rubs it all over his hands and then just rubs his hands all
Yeah.
over himself.
Some
I can
people-
accept that outcome, but just like, what were we doing
No, listen, if
beforehand?
that's what you do, but like, come on,
Yeah.
we like a washcloth.
Not great.
is
Some
the
people,
proper.
not me, might have sensitive skin where a washcloth could just, make a lot of issue.
Get one of those little loofah things. Figure it
Yeah,
out.
loofah. Get a hypoallergenic washcloth. Do what you have to do, Frank. I mean,
This
come
is
on.
why I just use a rusty steel wool that I took from the
Yeah.
kitchen that I felt like wasn't being used anymore.
Frank's skin's so
Places
sensitive
that
he
need
doesn't
to be
even take a
washed that you
bath.
can't
He
use your
just
hands.
skips it.
On any day that ends in Y, I'm like, do I really need to take a shower today?
Nah,
Wow.
skip it.
I do appreciate
Also, it-
this gentleman for
Putting himself
revealing
out there.
this. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think both of them are doing it wrong. And you need to
I'm
take a look
surprised
at
it's
it
still the
and
girlfriend.
use a
I'm surprised
washcloth.
that there wasn't a split over this. But
You're a big loofah
so-
guy, GC?
No, not a loofah, just a standard washcloth.
What about like those
I like the little sponge. I like the little
spongy
sponge.
thing, but there's
guy.
also the one that's a little bit rough. I like the rough one.
I think that's the
Yeah,
loofah. I
sure.
think the
No,
loofah
loofah
is the one
very
that has
soft.
the.
It's like a little like
Put a little
frilly thing.
exfoliating in there.
Yeah. I like a
No, I
good
think it's the
exfoliation.
opposite, but maybe I'm wrong. The loofah, I think, is the harder one, the one that
Nah,
does
loofah's the
scrubbing.
soft. Loofah's
But I like the little spongy guy.
spongy.
Man,
How
I'm just-
often do you change it?
pretty frequently. I don't know.
That's a
Yeah,
lot.
Sometimes
he
it could last
probably-
like 2-3
was
months.
like-
no?
I don't. I honestly don't have like a
you cannot
timer
be a
on it.
germaphobe and say
You don't
that.
set
Yeah.
like a Siri
Every
reminder or
couple days.
something.
Couple
Every couple
days.
days.
Jeez.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
using
no,
a fresh
I'm
one
not.
every day.
No.
I'm going longer than
week
that.
or two.
Yeah.
2
that's right.
weeks with the same washcloth.
How often do you change towels? How
Wait, you're
often?
supposed to change them?
Like,
Again,
ha-
every couple days.
How often do you put it in the wash?
So I
towel?
use one
How many
side
times?
one day.
I'm
the
like
other
a
side
week.
the
I'm
other
like
day.
a week to 2 weeks on
What?
both of those. Yeah.
Week to 2 weeks on the towel?
2
Yeah.
weeks on
Bro,
the same
that's-
towel and the
No,
same
maybe two's-
washcloth. You're
maybe
not even
two is
showering
long.
at that point.
Maybe 2 is long, but definitely a minimum a week.
I use the towel as the
Bro, you're
washcloth.
crazy. If you're
Oh, man,
keeping your
I'm
towel for
talking
2
a-
weeks, that's craziness.
Yeah. No.
Couple
maybe
days
less
on
than 2,
each,
but
man.
definitely at least one minimum.
He changes his
Couple
towels
days
as
on
often as he
each.
buys new loofahs.
I'm talking like you use a towel and a washcloth on Monday. I'm using a new one by like Wednesday, Thursday at the latest.
Real talk. How many times
That's
do
too
you
much
wash
laundry.
your bedding? How often?
Once a week we change it.
Oh, bedding.
we-
Bedding.
Yeah.
Bedding, yeah.
Mm,
What do you guys do?
Not
Yeah, like
The mysterious
between
household
every
is
1
once
and
a
2
week.
weeks. Yeah, I think once a week is respectable. 2 weeks at most.
2 weeks seems too long, especially with a dog and stuff and the dirty kids.
The dog's allowed on the bed.
Don't
Yeah.
have dirty kids.
Honestly,
also don't have a dog.
Listen, I was steadfast on the no dog on the bed, but now I've given up.
Okay, a follow-up question, then we can move on.
Sure.
Kids.
Yes.
They go through the towels how often? I mean, that's a lot of laundry.
The kids
bro.
are freaking psychopaths with the
Yeah, do
towels.
you make them share
All day.
towels?
No, all like they don't understand the concept of shower is over, towel does not go on the floor.
Yeah, towel on the floor is a
Oh,
big
yeah.
problem.
The whole house is littered in towels. Well,
Towel
why
on the
can't you
floor
put
is
it back? Because hopefully we can use this over, but now it's on the floor. It's ruined. And so my thing is floor ruined, wash. My wife says no, that's crazy, and then it becomes a whole thing.
Program
Also-
the Roomba to carry the towels back to the laundry room.
Yeah, that would be sick.
Towels
I
are
mean-
like the easiest thing in the world to wash, though. I will say that.
Yeah, you just throw some
What are
water
the-
on
what are
them,
the
wring it
hi-
out, throw
What
it
is
back
the
out.
hierarchy of things to wash? Like where towels fits where? What? Give me the whole breakdown.
I mean, it might be one. Like, I mean, you're just throwing it in there. You throw it in the wash, and then you throw it in the dryer, and then bam, it's done. Like that.
So
It's that easy.
And
your
that
whole
doesn't apply
load
to
of just the
clothes?
towel.
Is there anything better than like a nice fresh towel? And is there anything worse than a towel that like doesn't quite dry you off?
Fresh
Oh, like a
loofah.
new towel that like it's almost as if like you're getting a little bit of the fur stuck
Ah,
on you, and
it's
you're
awful.
just not really dry. It's,
doesn't-
there's
yeah.
you got to
Hey,
work
hey.
them in.
You need a
You gotta
need-
break
you
'em
need
in.
a roughness to the towel.
What
that it
brand
really,
of
Oh,
towel?
for sure, for sure.
I don't know.
Crate and Barrel. shout
Somebody
out.
just texted me every 3 showers for towel cleaning. That feels high to me. I don't know. That
Nah,
feels very
that.
quick.
I respect
Those are
their
rookie
game. I mean, you
numbers.
have 5-6 towels on hand. You rotate through, washcloth to go with each. It's easy math here.
No, I can't be that frequent. That's a lot. That's fast.
If we're on the tail end of 3 weeks on the bedding, 2 weeks on the washcloth, and 2 weeks on the towel, you got to give me a heads up before like we dap up or anything like that, because that's length. That's
Got
lengthy
some
right
things I
there.
need to disclose to you.
What about this from Slang74? Hello, Ariel and crew. Have you had any interest watching Tough this season? I didn't know it started. Did you guys know that?
I like the hoodies, the green and black hoodies. I think that's Team Valentina.
Yeah.
Saw one highlight. A guy was real distraught over losing by knockout. But other than that, no. I've seen the corner on ESPN where it's like 10 o'clock tonight. Tough.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that yet.
Not
have not watched.
Krillic says, first off, arugula on pizza is amazing. # Frank fan forever. My question is this: how do you manage acquiring and negotiating all your projects? My wife insists that you have a manager that helps you with your gigs, so I had to ask. Well, thank you for asking. I do have an agent. An agent helps in that department, and he's great, and we have a great relationship, and I'm very thankful, extremely thankful. Just 2 more here. Korean Zombie launched his own promotion in Korea. This is from Ali Me. Is this something you're aware of? Yes. And is there any contributions you're making to put this on the map? Would be happy to help him out. This dude is a legend. Your voice will help boost the exposure. Check him out. I think June 29th is his first event. Also, any word on Volk's return? Not yet. He's been pretty quiet. I told you he raised his hand And he said, you know, there was just nothing. There was nothing available, but he did raise his hand. And he's a freaking legend. Okay, last one. Oh, I lost it. She loves the gloves. Dear Ariel, I stumbled upon the interview you did on the Bigger Than Me podcast and just wanted to say that you're a great source of inspiration. I've been a regular viewer of the MMA for years now and love the Ringer show as well because it has a different vibe to it. Recently, I've been getting more into the MMA media side of things and interviewing coaches and fighters, but it's a tricky field to navigate. And I had many questions on how to go about some of these things. Just listening to that interview and the little nuggets of advice you share here and there brings me some peace of mind in my own approach and makes things a little clearer. Just wanted to show some appreciation for your professionalism. Keep fighting the good fight. Cheers from Georgia. Yes, and how about Georgia yesterday against Turkey? I know it didn't go your way, but a great showing, and I'm very happy. And I saw the emotion, and I saw the passion, and I saw the tears from the supporters and the journalists, and it seems like a beautiful country. And I say hello to everyone from Georgia, and we love you, and we hope for the best for the entire region as well. Thank you very much to everyone for the kind words. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the questions. Sorry we can't get to all of them, but we did get to a ton. I don't know how many that was, but it
39.
it felt like a ton. Oh, that's annoying. 39? That's
Yeah,
gonna,
I was like two
Jeez.
more
Oh
at
my
37.
God. Was it really 39?
That's correct.
Oh my dear.
Although the response you got from Ant Evans, was that on Substack or he texted you that?
Which one?
When you were like, Ant ass, I don't know, that was like an hour ago. Come on.
I don't know.
All right, because that could have been the 40th.
Okay, 40. What are your thoughts from Cole on Gable Steveson going to the Bills? Do you believe you'll see him in MMA? Yes, eventually. There it is. And 40. Yeah. Yes, it's going to be a tough road to get to making the actual Bills team, but I do wish him the best. All right. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it very much. Hey, if you like this video, give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe as well. You could get many more of these videos on the channel, so please do that. We would love you forever if you did so.